Boys and girls, we have a really special thing tonight. Mr. Smith has offered to read you the next chapter in The Old Man and the Sea. So he has a really great voice, and he's gonna start. We're gonna start on page 99. Okay, Mr. Smith.
Hi everybody. If you recall from yesterday, we had just found out that the shark was coming up and confronting the old man. On page 99, the third paragraph is where we're going to start. The shark was not an accident. He had come up from deep down in the water as the dark cloud of blood had settled and dispersed in the mile deep sea. He had come up so fast and absolutely without caution that he broke the surface of the blue water and was in the sun. Then he fell back into the sea and picked up the scent and started swimming on the course of the skiff and the fish had taken. Sometimes he lost the scent, but he would pick it up again or have just a trace of it, and he swam fast and hard on the course. He was a very big mako shark, built to swim as fast as the fastest fish in the sea, and everything about him was beautiful except his jaws. His back was as blue as a swordfish, and his belly was silver, and his hide was smooth and handsome. He was built as a swordfish except for his huge jaws, which were tight shut now as he swam fast just under the surface, with his high dorsal fin knifing through the water without wavering. Inside the closed double lip of his jaws, all of his 8 rows of teeth were slanted inward. They were not the ordinary pyramid-shaped teeth of most sharks. They were shaped like a man's finger when they are crisp like claws. They are nearly as long as the fingers of the old man, and they had razor-sharp cutting edges on both sides. This was a fish built to feed on all fishes in the sea that were so fast and strong and well-armed that they had no other enemy. Now he speeded up as he smelled the fresher scent, and his blue dorsal fin cut the water. When the old man saw him coming, he knew that this was the shark that he had no fear at all and would do exactly what he wished. He prepared the harpoon and made the rope fast while he watched the shark come on. The rope was short, as it lacked what he had cut away to lash the fish. The old man's head was clear and good now, and he was full of resolution, but he had little hope. It was too good to last, he thought. He took one last look at the great fish as he watched the shark close in. It might as well have been a dream, he thought. I can't keep him from hitting me, but maybe I can get him. Then so, he thought. Bad luck to your mother. The shark closed fast astern, and when he hit the fish, the old man saw his mouth open and his strange eyes and the clicking chop of the teeth as he drove forward in the meat just above the tail. The shark's head was out of water and his back was coming out, and the old man could hear the noise of skin and flesh ripping onto the big fish as he rammed the harpoon down onto the shark's head at a spot where the line between his eyes intersected with the line that ran straight back to his nose. There were no such lines. There was only a heavy, sharp blue head and big eyes, and the clicking, thrusting, all swallowing jaws. But that was the location of the brain, and the old man hit it. He hit it with his blood-mushed hands, driving a good harpoon with all his strength. He hit it without hope, but with resolution and complete malignancy. The shark swung over, and the old man saw his eye was not alive. Then he swung over once again, wrapping himself in 2 loops of the rope. The old man knew that he was dead, but the shark would not accept it. Then on his back, with his tail lashing and his jaws clicking, the shark plowed over the water as a speedboat does. The water was white where his tail had beat it, and 3/4 of his body was clear above the water when the rope came taut, shivered, and then snapped. The shark lay quietly for a while on the surface, and the old man watched him. Then he went down very slowly. He took about 40 pounds, the old man said aloud. He took my harpoon, too, and all the rope, he thought, and now my fish bleeds again, and there will be others. He did not like to look at the fish anymore, since it had been mutilated. When the fish had been hit, it was as though he himself were hit. But I killed the shark that hit my fish, he thought, and he was the biggest dentuzo that I had ever seen, and God knows that I've seen big ones. It was too good to last, he thought. I wished it had been a dream now, and I had never hooked that fish, and I was alone in bed on my newspapers. But man is not made for defeat, he said. A man can be destroyed, but not defeated. I am sorry that I killed the fish, though, he thought. Now the bad time is coming, and I do not even have a harpoon. The dentuzo is cruel and able and strong and intelligent, but I was more intelligent than he was. Perhaps not, he thought. Perhaps I was only better armed. Don't think, old man, he said aloud. Sail on this course and take it when it comes. But I must think, he thought, because it is all I have left, that and baseball. I wonder how the great DiMaggio would have liked the way I hit him in the brain. It was no great thing, he thought. Any man could do it. But do you think my hands were as great a handicap as the bone spurs? I cannot know. I never had anything wrong with my heel except the time the stingray stung it when I stepped on it when swimming and paralyzed the lower leg and made the unbearable pain. Think about something cheerful, old man, he said. Every minute now you are closer to home. Your sail lighter for the loss of 40 pounds. He knew quite well the pattern of what could happen when he reached the inner part of the current, but there was nothing to be done now. Yes, there is, he said aloud. I can lash my knife to the butt of one of the oars. So he did that with the tiller under his arm and the sheet of the sail under his foot. Now, he said, I'm still an old man, but I'm not unarmed. The breeze was fresh now, and he sailed on well. He watched only the forward part of the fish, and some of his hope returned. It's not silly to hope, he thought. Besides, I believe it is a sin. Do not think about sin, he thought. There are enough problems now without sin. Also, I have no understanding of it. I have no understanding of it, and I have not sure that I believe in it. Perhaps it was a sin to kill the fish. I suppose it was even though I did it to keep me alive and feed many people. But then everything is a sin. Do not think about sin. It's much too late for that, and there are people who are paid to do that. Let them think about it. You were born to be a fisherman, and as the fish was born to be a fish. San Pedro was a fisherman and was father of the great DiMaggio. But he liked to think about things all he was involved in, and since there was nothing to read, and he did not have a radio, he thought much, and he kept thinking about sin. You did not kill the fish only to keep alive and to sell the food, he thought. You killed him for pride and because you are a fisherman. You loved him when he was alive, and you loved him after. If you love him, it is not a sin to kill him, or is it more? You think too much, old man, he said aloud. But you enjoyed killing the dentoso, he thought. He lives on the live fish as you do. He's not a scavenger, nor just a moving appetite as some sharks are. He is beautiful and noble and knows no fear of anything. I killed him in self-defense, the old man said aloud, and I killed him well. Besides, he thought, everything kills everything else in some way. Fishing kills me exactly as it keeps me alive. The boy keeps me alive, he thought. I must not deceive myself too much. He leaned over the side and pulled loose a piece of the meat of the fish where the shark had cut him. He chewed it and noted its quality and its good taste. It was firm and juicy like meat, but it was not red. There was no stringiness in it, and he knew that it would bring the highest price in the market. But there was no way to keep the scent out of the water, and the old man knew that a very bad time was coming. The breeze was steady. It was backed a little further into the northeast, and he knew that meant that it would not fall off. The old man looked ahead of him, and he could see no sails, nor could he see the hull nor the smoke of any ship. There were only the flying fish that went up from his bow, sailing away to either side, and the yellow patches of gulfweed. He could not even see a bird. He sailed for 2 hours, resting in the stern, sometimes chewing a bit of meat from the marlin, trying to rest, to be strong, when he saw the first of 2 sharks. "Aye," he said aloud. There is no translation for this word, and perhaps it's just a noise such as a man might make involuntarily, feeling the nail going through his hands and into the wood. "Galanos," he said aloud. He had seen the second fin now coming up behind the first, and identified them as shovel-nosed sharks by their brown triangular fin and the sweeping movements of the tail. They had a scent and were excited, and in their stupidity of the great hunger, they were losing and finding the scent in their excitement, but they were closing all the time. The old man made the sheet fast and jammed the tiller. Then he took up the oar with the blade and lashed to it. He lifted it as lightly as he could because his hands rebelled in pain. Then he opened and closed on it lightly to loosen them. He closed them firmly so that he could take the pain now and would not flinch and watch the sharks come. He could see their wide, flattened, shovel-pointed heads now and their white-tipped, wide pectoral fins. They were hateful sharks, bad-smelling, scavengers as well as killers. And when they were hungry, they would bite an oar or a rudder of a boat. It was these sharks that would cut turtles' legs and flippers off when the turtles were asleep on the surface, and they would hit a man in the water if they were hungry, even if the man had no smell of fish blood nor fish slime on him. "Aye," said the old man. "Galanos, come on, Galanos." They came, but they did not come as the Mako had come. One turned and went out of sight under the skiff, and the old man could feel the skiff shake as he jerked and pulled on the fish. The other watched the old man with his slitted yellow eyes and then came in fast with his half circle of jaws wide to hit the fish where they had already been bitten. The line showed clearly on the top of his brown head and the back where his brain joined the spinal cord, and the man drove the knife onto the oar into the juncture, withdrew it, and drove it again into the shark's yellow cat-like eyes. The shark let go of the fish and slid down, swallowing what he had taken as he died. The skiff was still shaking with the destruction of the other shark was doing on to the fish, and the old man let go of the sheet so the skiff would swing broadside and bring the shark out from under. When he saw the shark, he leaned over to the side and punched him. He hit only meat, and the hide was set hard and he could barely get his knife in. The blow hurt not only his hand, but his shoulders too. But the shark came up fast and his head out, and the old man hit him squarely in the center of his flat-topped head as his nose came out of the water and lay against the fish. The old man withdrew the blade and punched the shark exactly in the same spot again. He still hung to the fish with his jaws hooked, and the old man stabbed him in the left eye. The shark still hung there. "No!" the old man said, and he drove the blade between the vertebrae in his brain. It was an easy shot now, and he felt the cartilage sever. The old man reversed the oar, put the blade between the shark's jaws to open them. He twisted the blade, and as the shark slid loose, he said, "Go on, Galano. Slid down a mile deep. Go see your friend, or maybe it's your mother." The old man wiped the blade of his knife and laid down the oar. Then he found the sheet and the sail filled with, and he brought the skiff onto her course. They must have been a quarter of him of the best meat that he ate. I wish this was a dream and I had never hooked him. I'm sorry about the fish. It makes everything wrong. He stopped, and he did not want to look at the fish now. Drained of blood and washed, he looked the color of the silver backing of a mirror, and his stripes still showed. "I shouldn't have gone out so far, fish," he said. "Neither for you nor for me. I'm sorry, fish."
Thank you, Mr. Smith. I'm just going to point this up so that... Oh, it'll be backwards in a minute. Let's see. There we are. Thank you for reading the story tonight to us. That was just wonderful.
It was fun.
Thank you.